Welcome to the Snickcast, the podcast that breaks down Nickelodeon's most iconic Saturday night lineups.
Join us as we discuss childhood favorites like Are You Afraid of the Dark, Keenan and Kel, and everything in between.
Well, and today we're traveling back to Saturday, September 26th, 1992.
Living life in a 90s dream. Snick is on the TV, laughing with my best buddy. Yes, Snick, so right. Nickelodeon all night.
Whoa, dude. 92 feels pretty good. September 26th feels pretty good right now. And I gotta tell you, in 1992 right now, the leaves are falling, a little chill in the air. And you know what? The movies, they show that right now. Guess what was number one in America this week?
What's happening at the box office this week?
I'll do a line from it. I always like to see if Ant could guess the name of the movie that I do. This one makes a little sense. This was filmed in the state that you grew up in. All right, here you go. I only have one line. So picture we're behind a waterfall, okay. And you have just like you do in real life. You have gorgeous long hair, and I grab you and I go, "I will find you. I will find you," and then I jump through the waterfall. Maybe one of our, I'd say the greatest living actor. I'll throw the name out. I'll say it. The greatest living actor to me.
Oh, that's easily got to be Kevin Bacon digging to China.
No, number one movie in America right now was Last of the Mohicans.
I will find you. No matter how long it takes, no matter how far. I will find you.
DDL at his finest.
And he was probably happy to take over the number one spot from our boy Dan Aykroyd and Robert Redford, those little sneakers.
We can wrap you in a full bodysuit of neoprene heat-resistant rubber, or we can raise the temperature in Cosmo's office to 98.6 degrees.
Number 3 is a movie that I kind of always forget about, but was relatively well known and for a long time. Mr. Saturday Night.
Put your hands together, and on the count of 3, let's make them feel at home, and we'll all say, "Fred, what's with your fucking hair?" What did I say? What did I do? Here we go. Stand up, goddammit. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3. Fred, what's with your...
I don't know if I've ever seen this movie. I'm going to actually be honest with you. I don't know if I've seen this.
I'll be honest with you, too. I have not.
I mean, I used to be able to draw the poster in my head. Like it's him smoking a cigar. Like, hey, that classic sort of Billy Crystal. I think this is when he started getting a time where he probably thought his shit didn't stink as much.
I believe that's true. And I would have thought of him as Mr. Sunday Night back when he was hosting all the award shows in his prime.
Yeah, exactly. He was Mr. Sunday Night to me. He was Oscar Sunday to me every year. And then number 4, Captain Ron, baby.
And hide the salami in the shower.
And number 5, we got Singles.
That's a very nice hat you're wearing, and I don't mean that in an Eddie Haskell kind of way.
Now, I'm sure you're saying, hey, guys, what's number one song in the country right now? It's still them. They're still doing their thing.
Wow. It's like the Titanic of its era.
It really is. It's just so surprising that this was that. It's a good song, and I guess it's always played at every prom and everything like that, but I did not know it had this longevity.
I mean, how sad was America at the time?
No. I mean, I thought 92 seemed like a great year, but, we're not always right. And I'm sure there was a bunch of adult stuff that happened this year, this weekend too, but you know what? That's no fun because we do this show so that we can talk about kid things as adult men. Can we have a teenage girl just explain it all to us right now?
I was hoping you'd ask because 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, I want nothing else.
All right, so this episode, this is called Janet's Ex-Boyfriend. And I think the IMDb synopsis of it makes it seem a little bit darker than I think the episode actually is. Because it goes, Marshall becomes jealous when Janet's ex-boyfriend, a successful writer, pays the darlings a visit for dinner. I don't ever get him as being super, super jealous in the episode.
Honestly,
Clarissa,
that sounds like the plot of Singles, if I didn't know it.
Yeah, not married couple for 2 decades with 2 kids. Yeah. But no, I was surprised. I was like, I would just say Clarissa and her father become worried about mom's over exuberance with her ex-boyfriend coming to town, or famous ex-boyfriend coming to town.
There's more levity behind what you've said. It definitely sounds like some kind of psychological thriller that we were going to see.
Oh man, it's like, Janet has an ex-boyfriend Marshall's unsure of him. He's like, Janet, we gotta get away from him. Her ex-boyfriend's more trouble than we suspected. Janet's ex-boyfriend.
She thinks he's working on a bunch of architectural homes, but it's really a murder plot.
he's like, I'm building a house to kill her ex-boyfriend. Dun, 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 dun. Daniel Day-Lewis, Rebecca Romaine Stamos, and Kevin Bacon. Dun, 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 dun. Janet's ex-boyfriend.
My God, that'd be a great cast. Daniel Day-Lewis would obviously be Joey Russo. Kevin Bacon would be Mr. Darling.
Yeah, DDL would be the ex-boyfriend, which actually would be a pretty good character for him to play. So I guess we should say, like, the boyfriend comes in.
I mean, it starts off like Carissa's giving us nostalgia, like recap on things, and introduces, our love for things all of old. They have this like Beatles kind of like retro.
I bet you that was like the writing staff of the show acting like the Beatles.
Doing like
the info commercial of like, listen to all your favorite songs from your favorite band.
It's great. These old CD like infomercials. Clarissa has Mr. Buttstein has assigned her to write their autobiography in class, and then we learn that mom's famous author ex-boyfriend is coming to town.
I was thinking about when she does her nostalgia thing at first. I was like, we do a whole show about nostalgia right now. I was like, yeah, nostalgia is pretty strong and heavy, but I don't think I've ever had nostalgia in the way that it felt like Janet in particular, which it feels weird to call Mrs. Darling Janet the whole time.
I was going to ask you, did you know by the title who Janet was, or did you have to look it up?
No, I thought it was going to be like one of Clarissa's friends or something.
A random friend that gets popped in.
Well, and I mean her dad, because her mom always goes Marshall.
Yeah.
So I knew his name. I know his name, and I know Ferg Breath and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, this episode, it's pretty simple just on its face.
Oh yeah, I did like some of the flashbacks and the daydreams that they had here. Clarissa, I guess, trying to write her autobiography, which is really daunting task for, I don't know, what's she in, 7th grade or something?
It'd be like 1 page, 1 or 2 pages.
Yeah, max. Which I guess they did kind of comment on, because Sam comes in and gives her a taste of his, and it's very much like an ESPN documentary where he's this legendary athlete, and then she's like, well, I'll try it, and tries it as like a baseball player, and it doesn't really work. She has this like flashback fantasy of what her mom and her mom's ex were like, and they go through like
Romeo and Juliet-esque
and a Sonny and Cher thing, and then they have this like Navy SEAL returning from war moment.
Oh, that's the Officer and a Gentleman moment. Yeah.
Oh yeah. See.
Yeah, that was from the movie Officer and a Gentleman, and I can't remember what the lady in the background says in that moment. Like,
it was
good
epic,
for
though.
you.
Yeah, it was
and you're like,
good for you, Janet.
Yeah, that's like. And they just clap, and it was pretty funny.
Yeah. So Clarissa paints this like picture of her mom and her mom's ex to be this like really dangerous love affair that maybe could happen. We get reaffirmed at dinner. They're eating pizza, and because mom is like too worried about Joey coming to town.
Yeah, because she wants to make a nice meal for him the next
not
night.
For her family.
Not for her family, and she colors her hair. Gets more.
Ferg is loving this.
Yeah,
he's like, "Well, pizza, that's amazing, Mom. Your hair looks great." The kiss-assery begins early on, and we get to see
and he's like, "Could this guy be part of the family, and I get like now a wealthy author to be I can be the apprentice to,
This is where we see Marshall start to like crack a teeny bit, start to feel that maybe Pops is like, I don't know about this guy, and being like kind of pushed to the background. The next daydream that happens is a divorce TV.
Which this was actually pretty funny, because that was a very 90s thing to me. It's Sam's the judge.
Yeah, it's in like this people's court kind of way. Sam's the judge, Clarissa's defending her father, and Ferguson is defending mom. It was a fun little flashback.
Yeah, and I really like that Marshall. Now I'm calling him Marshall. I don't like this. I'm now calling him. I always and tell me if you had the same thing. I always felt very weird calling elders by their first names, or
Yes.
particularly other people's parents. Like I'd always be like, Mr. McMahon, Mrs. McMahon. I'd always not the wrestlers, but not the wrestling organization ones. I don't know, but that was my friend's parents' name.
But
So
you
I
still
guess
would refer to them as Mr.
but
and Mrs. McMahon.
I would call Vince McMahon Mr. McMahon if I met him.
Yeah, there's no Vince in that.
Yeah, no, I didn't go, listen, Vince. No, but I do think about that. Like, so now it's so weird just to call them by their first names. Like, because I never would call adults by their first names. But now, Marshall, the Marsh Dog, as we like to call him back in college.
The architect.
Oh, yeah. The architect of love. Marshall, baby. Woo! But yeah, I don't know. I just could never do it. So, and now Marshall and Janet are probably younger than me and you are as we're talking about this.
It's true. And I feel like if I were to meet them at their age then, I still would call them Mr. and Mrs. Darling.
Yeah. Well, he still looks like just straight up older than us. I think it's because of the maturity level.
On our behalf.
On us. That's on us. That's not on you, Marshall.
You've matured very well. We're doing a nostalgia podcast.
But then as we were talking about, like, you go into like nostalgia things, what happens? This dude shows up. What's her ex-boyfriend's name?
Joey Russo.
This guy is cliche, like when he walks in,
He's
cocky,
slime
rich
ball,
guy.
Man. Literally is not even finished saying his hellos to everybody. Pulls out one of these giant flip phones, says, "Hi, yeah, that'll work," hangs it up. That's my agent.
I live in LA, so I hear that a lot more than you would imagine. But for a normal home,
not in Darlington, USA.
Did you pick up on the part where Mr. Darling, not Marshall, says, "Hey, one time I was featured in Midwestern Architects Monthly or something like. I got my picture in it, and I was like, wait a second, we're not in Florida because there's a gator in the house. There's so many things this confuses me. So." I think we have to assume either he went to college in the Midwest or they started in the Midwest and then moved this way.
Early days before his architect career took off.
Unless you say, is that better than Southeastern Architect of the Year? Does the joke land better? But I'm hoping it's because they have a storyline for him. So.
Oh, God, I hope so, too, now that you say that.
Yeah.
Well, before Joey comes in, Ferg is on the phone trying to sell his own book called Smart Brothers, Dumb Sisters.
I tried to sell the same book.
Joey shows up, slime balling it up. Mom's looking good.
Mom looks good, and she appears to be very smitten.
She's also wearing a necklace of Mafalda's, or not wearing a necklace of Mafalda's. So
no, she was looking for it, though. She was looking for it earlier.
Bailed on it, got a prettier one, so to speak. Her hair's done in a way we've never seen before, and dare I say, Miss Darling's looking pretty sexy for a mom.
I gotta say, this is when, if I was Marshall, I would start being concerned.
I think he is, and then he starts eating a lot. He's eating his feelings more and more throughout the episode.
And Marshall, I feel you. I do the same exact thing. If there was a charcuterie board at this event, I would be munching hard.
Well, so Clarissa and our boy Marsh, Papa Darling, are in the living room. Marsh is snacking away. Clarissa's venting about she doesn't trust Joey here. Joey comes in with Ferg and Mom, and they've been out at a book signing of Joey's because he's out there showboating it around. And they then went to dinner afterward. Pops didn't know about that. Clarissa wasn't privy to it. This guy's moving in on the Darling family. Our guy Joey's book that he's touring.
Oh, yeah. What's the name of this book?
The one that got him popular is called I'm Okay, Aren't I? And Dad mocks it and is like, you mean to tell me I'm okay, aren't I, is what made him famous? Some self-help book. We come to find out, though, as he's schmoozing and selling us up there, Dad's like, oh, you mean to tell me that an auto salesman comes to self-help books and you're not maybe bending the truth a little bit? Clarissa gets a little privy to it, too.
But then kind of pretty quickly after this, we find out that Mom, Mrs. Darling, is sick and tired of him as well.
Ferg and Joey go up to work on his book together, and Mom just spills the guts. We gotta get him out of here finally.
I think if I was Marshall, I would have been so relieved because up until that point, way too many signs. Way too many signs. I'd be like, when is he leaving town?
They were pointing the whole way, and then to cap it off, he's about to leave because he's going to go work on his new book, and he has Mom take out a contract consent form. It's like, I want to use you. And she goes, oh, you want to use me? And he's like, yeah, it's for my new book called Women Who Love Men Who Used to Love Them. And at this point, we're like, Joey, just get the fuck out of here.
I say, Janet, get one of those pizzas and shove it down his throat. And then he has the audacity to give the papers to the rest of the darlings. He wants them to sign. They're like, yeah, sure, we'll sign it. We'll fill this out and give it back to you.
And then they had, like, in sync, he closes the door and leaves. They all crumple up their contracts and throw them over their shoulder. Have a nice darling family moment of like, we don't need this guy.
It was a darling moment.
It was truly a darling moment.
Yeah. But you know what? That's so weird. As we end this Clarissa episode, I bet we're feeling a little nostalgia, maybe. Maybe a little nostalgia for a Roundhouse first date. This is a great synopsis on IMDb, as opposed to Marshall's gonna kill, the ex-boyfriend. So with this one, it's in the infinite struggle to be cool. The boy and his dudes go to the mall where he meets a girl. They go out on their first date, which doesn't start promising. Will they find a make it work, or will immaturity rule the day? I actually,
in a nutshell.
And that's what I want in a synopsis. Actually, this is a lot of nostalgia for me. I think about like those first dates, or meeting up with a girl somewhere, or hanging with the boys I don't know if I hung out at the mall nearly as much.
I wanted to go to the mall more and make that a thing because it seemed like such a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was via the movies and TV we were watching, but...
Well, like mall rats, I always wanted to go to the mall because of mall rats. At the same time, also, I don't think my parents would just let me stay at the mall all day, so...
Yeah, no, at the age we were watching this, not a chance. I did like that we get the return of MTV.
Yes!
Which was really cool. We get Paula Abdul Unplugged was the first thing that jumped out at me. And they literally introduce, here's Paula Abdul Unplugged. It's as if someone unplugged her mic. And it's just someone horribly singing.
Which, it kind of made, that was the time where performers, there was a lot of things behind them and dancing and things like that. And you go, how good are they actually without all that stuff?
Raw talent. From there we got Elvis, and it's Elvis is back and he's black. And we got a black Elvis, and it was all of his hits, but modernized.
I thought it worked really well. Can you do a good Elvis voice? Can you do a good Elvis?
Ho, ho, ho.
That sounds like you in the bedroom, baby.
That's exactly. Thank you very much. Yeah. Also from the bedroom.
I'm all shook up.
Oh, I am nothing but a hound dog.
Isn't that the go-to, just to say song names
exactly.
in the voice? Oh, you ain't nothing but a hound dog. Jailhouse Rock.
Yeah. Blue suede shoes.
We're caught in a trap.
He obviously did it way better. There was very musical up top on this episode. From there, we got a pop group that sang "I Want to Be a Rebel." I don't know if you remember that song.
What was it? This was meant to mimic something.
I was trying to pinpoint what it was, but it's some song clearly from the early '90s that they were parodying. Which I'm just going to assume they did a really great job.
It worked. It played really well.
They typically have. We get our first commercial break, and they come back from commercial break. This stood out to me. They had a song and dance, but the song was called "Welcome Back to Roundhouse," and they were lightly singing "Welcome Back to Roundhouse, Welcome Back to Roundhouse" as they were flipping and dancing. And they hadn't done that before, so I thought that was pretty cool.
You know what, though? Anytime there's something interesting like that kind of happening, is fun. So it's kind of like when they cut to credits at the end of every episode. Like, I want to see the fun way that they just kind of like, let's just figure out how we're going to go between things.
Oh, and this one, not to jump too far ahead, when they end this one and the credits are rolling, we get a lot of time with them still dancing around on the stage here. Like, more than we've seen. Back to the MTV show, they had a thing called Kool-Aid, which was going to be this live concert venue, and it was going to raise money for people who are cool.
Yeah, very much a Live Aid.
From this bout of MTV, we finally get a boy and a girl that are kind of like seeing each other from afar, and they're kind of having this like, will they, won't they? They're scared to talk to each other. Young boy asks dad for advice. Dad, I don't know if you noticed this, on the couch, is reading a comic book called Buttman. and it looks like a Batman logo and everything. It's pretty great. And Dad keeps using the term butt. Kick his butt. Tell him to butt out. He uses the term butt a lot throughout the episode. Then they go to the girl who's asking Mom for advice. Says, I think there's a boy that likes me, but I don't know if he's going to ask me, and I don't know what I'll say if he does this. They're in the car. I thought this was really cool. They, just as soon as this little sketch starts, they have these cardboard road signs that they pass very quickly.
Yes.
It was so fast, I had to take it back and like see what order these, because I know they're little nuggets for us, and if you're not paying attention. The first one is a road sign that says, you'll put someone's eye out. The next one is a road sign that says, who knows where that's been. The third road sign is like a do not cross kind of like X through, and it's a guy picking his nose. And then the other one's like a no farting sign. Just thought that was fun and nonsense.
Yeah. The prop department on this show had to have so much fun. Just always adding things.
A lot of cardboard, which I'm impressed with.
Yeah, where are they getting all this cardboard?
They're going to a landfill, just taking away from recycling.
Are they just grabbing the ones that you use for the science fair? Those cardboard things, and just ripping them up?
Trifolders, yeah, they have to.
Oh gosh, was that the name of them?
I mean, they fold.
No, you sounded pretty sure of that. You said trifolder pretty confidently.
I mean, they're not three equal sides, but they do fold three ways.
Yeah.
Let's say they're trifold. If they're not, throw it in the comments. Let us know how much of an idiot I am. Well, so we go to the son goes to his friends to ask for advice, and they're playing a video game. I don't know if you remember this. One of the guys is playing video games, and he's like, doesn't want to hear it because he's a dude. And there's two other people. They're behind a cardboard cutout of a TV with their hands kind of like finger puppets that are being the video game. Really cool. I just thought was like a neat staging. They're living outside the box, quite literally, outside of a cardboard box. They have an ad for PAS, and it's when you're at a party, but your dad starts dancing.
Yes, that's right.
PAS stood for Part Animal Syndrome, or Party Animal Syndrome. Dad just comes in and kind of just kills the whole vibe with all of his dance moves.
Good old John Crane. I'm just on their IMDb now, so now I know Dad's name. John Crane, baby.
He's an iconic dad, and him and Mr. Darling are definitely got to be on the Mount Rushmore of dads.
Oh, you mean Marshall, our dear friend Marshall?
I'm talking about our guy Marsh.
Did you hear Kevin Bacon's going to play him in a movie with Daniel Day-Lewis?
What? They go on he asks her kind of accidentally on a date.
Yeah.
We fast forward to the date, which they set up as like a boxing match. It was a great framing for kids that have never been on a date, don't know how to maneuver any of the situations. Our guy Crane, Daddy Crane, announcing it.
Papa Crane.
Papa Crane's over there announcing it, the play-by-play. Our Bill Cosby impersonator is the ref.
Again, it's an impersonation that makes sense in the time, it really does.
It did. I'm sure it killed at the time. I don't know why they shoved him in there as a ref. I think it was like we have this cast member that can do this impression. We don't have anywhere for it this episode, so let's make him the ref. There was nothing extra special about it except that he does a great one. So finally, the boy and the girl are saying things to each other that are like metaphorically about winning or losing or getting jabs in their date. Finally, the boy says something that goes too far, and he's got the girl against the ropes, so to speak. And our girl, of course, is the lovely, talented Miss Crystal Lewis.
Oh, Crystal!
Who naturally, when she's around for more than just a bit character, we're guaranteed some beautiful ballad.
This is a powerhouse.
And she does not disappoint.
This is the thing that I remember the most, I think, now from this episode.
I think the song's called I Only Want to Be Me, and it's more or less she just goes on about not compromising herself and standing up for herself. And then our guy, Daddy Crane, announces that, she's got him back. Oh, and she takes him down.
The Jell-O pudding.
Cosby comes in, he counts out 1, 2, 3 with a pudding pop, and the girl wins the boxing match. Again, I don't know why, but they never miss, and I don't think it's them bailing on it. I think they found a groove with it. The son goes to the dad after his defeat and is like, "Man, it just didn't go well, Dad. Like, what do I do now?" And Dad goes, "Well, if it were up to me, I'd reprise the theme song and roll the credits."
What an ending, man! What an ending!
Keep watching. There's more Snick coming up next.
This episode of the Snickcast is sponsored by Fruit Stripe Gum.
Yikes! Stripes! Fruit stripe gum! It's a yummy, fruity one. Stick a stripe of fun with a flying flip-flop. Throw a woo, a pit-pot. Yikes! Stripes! Fruit stripe gum. A really wilder. A ton of fun, a miler. A flavor overloader. Wild fruit exploder. Yikes! Stripes! Fruit stripe gum. Men from outer space plunk a pop in your face. Fruity flavors in the pack. Gooey gobble, bite snack. Yikes! Stripes!
Fruit stripe gum and bubble gum.
Now back to Snickcast. Now let's get to those two goofy little creatures.
Let's get to 9 o'clock.
Oh, baby. Okay, so we decided this is a rerun episode. Both these episodes we've seen before of Ren and Stimpy on Snick. One of them is in the Army. In this episode, guess what? It sounds exactly what the title is. They begin basic training under a very demanding drill sergeant. And then the other episode, Big House Blues, which is a kind of a prison drama that we like to think of. And it's just both of them get tossed to the pound where they discover the true meaning of going to sleep. Now, if you want to hear us talk about both of those, go check out some earlier episodes. Or if you've been following along, you know those great classics.
Yeah.
So instead, what we decided to do is we're just going to give you like a little kind of fun trivia about Ren and Stimpy right now.
Happy, happy, joy, joy, trivia today. Ren's all rage while Stimpy's all play. A rubber nipple salesman in disguise. Chilling with muddy mud skipper guys.
I found this interesting. I was looking through IMDb, Wikipedia, all those sort of things. Fact-based journalism. And what I found... and I found maybe a reason why there's a lot of them not on Paramount Plus. It just says due to controversial keep these in. I want to show how I'm screwing up so much. I want the people to know we're just like them. Podcasters, they're just like us. I can't believe I can't do this. This is bad. I have a fucking theater degree. This is horrible. If our professors could see us doing this bad, oh my gosh.
They'd be so proud.
They'd be so proud. Okay, so a reason some of them are not on Paramount Plus is due to some controversy surrounding certain episodes. Only about 36 of the 55 episodes are available. So there's almost 20 episodes that Paramount deems too rough around the edges or too controversial to have on there. So guys, it sounds like there's going to be quite a few that we're going to be doing some fun facts about Ren and Stimpy. Because out of 55 episodes, almost half aren't available on Paramount Plus, or
That's
just
insane.
available to stream at all. I mean,
Is it
we
the
might go on the
same,
dark web. We'll go on the dark web to get them eventually.
Eventually we're going to find
Yeah.
it. And I'm asking like you have all the answers, and I'm not looking it up myself.
Oh, I do. I have the answers.
Okay, great. So when they moved to like Spike TV and Comedy Central, did they still have access to all those, or is it just 36 of those episodes available?
I think it's now just a 36. I did find it seems like in certain other countries, there's companies that have those available to watch. So
okay,
I did notice
travel
that.
abroad if you want to watch the full 55.
Yeah. Just go to.
Criterion.
All you need to do is go to Beirut, and you can just rent a hotel room there. Rent a hotel room. Rent a hotel room? This is horrible. I'm falling apart. This is what happens where there's no new episodes to watch. I fall apart. There's nothing new. I say to rent a hotel room. Just go to Saudi Arabia, stay at a prince's palace, go to a Russian oligarch's house in Moscow, and just say, I'm just here to watch Ren and Stimpy. Well, I guess someone's going to say to us, I know someone's going to comment, you guys could just get a fucking VPN, whatever that means also. When I hear advertisements for a VPN, and they're like, you just get a VPN and you could just watch all these things. Cool. I don't know these things, guys.
Listen, I apparently have a VPN, and I still can't find them, so
What?
I don't even know.
You should be able to watch, there's things on the BBC you should be able to watch in real time, baby. You can watch it. You don't have to wait for BBC America to start showing them.
I'm not using my VPN correctly then.
Yeah. And I've been clearly using the Silk Road wrong. I've just been buying massive amounts of grenade launchers and stuff. I mean, really, I should just be getting episodes of Ren and Stimpy available. Anyways, I digress. Another interesting thing I found out was that, do you know what sort of cat Stimpy is?
Oh, wow. This is a good one. I have no idea. He's not a tabby.
No, he's not. He's kind of a unique one. He's a Manx cat, spelled M-A-N-X. This is a species of cat that originates from the Isle of Man that is usually missing or partially missing a tail due to a genetic mutation.
Wow.
So I thought it was just for more comic effect, and why it was always kind of a little confusing. Because as a kid and even as an adult, I would sometimes go, wait, Stimpy's a cat, right? Until he makes Ren eat his litter and stuff, I always kind of forget.
So that would mean that Ren is clearly a Saint Bernard.
I mean, we'll go with that, baby. I love the idea they're like, we're just going to make people so confused by this. They won't know what to do.
I'm going to sneak one in.
Oh,
This
hit
is
us.
Basic from, you can find this anywhere. But did we know that Ren and Stimpy aired the first episode on the exact same day and year that Rugrats and Doug both premiered?
That is a wild one to hear. That's like Gone with the Wind and Wizard of Oz coming out in the same year. You just kind of like, you're just like, wait, great things just all happen at once? Like in a weird way? Just pretty amazing.
I mean, I assume Doug and Rugrats, but you always forget that Ren and Stimpy was there, a part of that.
Well, it's like it's like kind of like the darker older brother. I feel like is what Ren and Stimpy is.
I think that's how they treated it too at the studio.
Right. And you know, let's just give one more fun fact. This will kind of for the younger people in the audience listening. But supposedly Stimpy is considered to be the possible inspiration for the character Patrick on SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh.
This is due to supposedly having multiple similar personality traits.
I guess I could kind of see that. There's a similar doofy optimism behind both of those characters.
Well, and what I like about it also is, I mean, obviously, SpongeBob SquarePants, I think comes on Snick eventually at one point, doesn't it? Does it have a little run on Snick much later? This
might have been post my watching of Snick.
Well, guess what, buddy? Eventually you're going to have to watch it, so you might as well get used to it.
I guess we're going to find out, which to piggyback on top of one last little nugget, so some of the music from Ren and Stimpy actually did spill over into episodes of SpongeBob SquarePants.
What? Now that I didn't know. Yeah, from what I'm looking at, it looks like we got some Sponge on Snick coming up, baby. You know what?
Stay tuned for episode 450 when we get SpongeBob.
Okay, so we're in 1992 right now. When do you think SpongeBob started on look at this, we're finding so many facts for everybody here. When do you think SpongeBob first makes an appearance? And it has a nice, how many year run? It does about 2 years on
Snick.
On Snick, baby. This is 1992. What year do you think it's going to be? And by the way, I just called you baby, and I kind of like it. So.
I like it too.
Yeah. I feel like Joey Russo right there, man. Listen, baby. I feel like Joey Russo, baby.
And I responded like Miss Darling.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Anthony, did you put highlights in your hair for me?
Thanks for noticing. I'm going to guess 2004 to 2006.
So you went deep. It's actually 9 years later. So winter 2020 or 20. What the again, guys? What is happening to me? I'm messing up left and right. But he has to keep this in. Demand the coward cut. Demand the John cut. Everybody, Zack Snyder demands it. Oh, okay. Let me try that again, everybody. It's winter 2000. What the heck, man? Winter 2000 to summer 2001. SpongeBob kicked off Snick.
So I'm assuming this is not the opening episode anymore. Eventually,
no, it's been a long since gone. And this is also when it became Snick House, which we'll get into that development in about 9 years. So,
wow. Season 9, baby.
Yeah. Well, anyways, let's get away from all this soft and lovey and dovey fun stuff. Let's get a little dark. Let's get a little creepy. Let's get around the campfire. This episode of Are You Afraid Dark, I think, is a real gem. I think this is a real gem of an episode. The episode's called The Tale of the Captured Souls.
Baby, I could not wait to dive into this with you.
And this synopsis, a family moves into a small house in the summer where they befriend a young man and start feeling weaker every day. Man, that does not give any... If you told me that synopsis, I would not guess where this episode goes. But man, do we have a gem, and do we have a young Daniel Day-Lewis in this episode?
I mean, yes, we do.
Start us off.
Attire and all.
Exactly. Start us off with this. So how does this episode kind of kick off?
Oh, we warm up around the fire with the gang, and our boy Gary Egon Weatherman is calculating how old our nerdy friend Eric is.
Did you see the calculation? Do you see how old he is?
I got too caught up on Gary Egon Weatherman doing the math here because, of course, he would be calculating this. But it was something ridiculous. It was his 100,000th day on the planet.
This is where a little IMDb came in the handy. So by the calculation, what Gary says he's 500.
I'm sorry, you're talking about Gary Egon Weatherman?
Yeah, my apologies. But Gary Egon Weatherman says that Eric's birthday is April 28th, and he is 5,450 days old. So that would put his birth year in 1977, meaning if this show is 1992, he's 14 or 15. Yeah, he'd be 15, right?
Wow, yeah. He looks younger. I gotta say, looks younger.
I'm about to say, that does not look like a 15-year-old that I went to high school with.
And he does carry himself a little bit on the immature side of the group.
Yes, he does. But he does have great hair. I do have to point out. I always enjoy his hair. It's very 90s fun guy.
Going for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had that going for him, but that was about it. So he's 5,000 days old?
5,450 days old. So wait, that makes us, man, so we're at we're over 10,000. We're at probably over 15. We're close to 15,000 days old. Oh, I was going to say, this is one of 8 episodes to exclude background music and show the hand with the match slide into view before it disappeared, replaced by lighting and the title, rather than showing the hand with the match that lights itself.
Oh, wow.
This is only one of 8 episodes. I don't know if we've missed those other episodes, but I was like, wow, that's a fun fact that I didn't pick up on, and then I rewatched it to see it. And I was like, oh, that's totally true.
I'm
really
now on
cool.
the lookout for that. I had no idea. Well, pre that, our girl Kiki arrives a little late with a Polaroid camera.
Oh, man.
What's with, on this note, what's with the storytellers always being tardy? The person in the chair is never on time.
It must be something with you're trying to create the best story you can possible, or as we learned from a lot of the episodes where the person's tardy, it usually means they're going to try to scare everybody at the end of it in some way. So if you showed up tardy to our Midnight Society, I'd be like, Ant's onto something, you know.
Something's on something, or they're very nervous, they're walking their green mile because they don't deliver their gonzo. She takes us into the story, which is our girl Danielle and her parents are going to stay at a hotel on a crystal clear lake that looks like it's been plucked from some perfect travel agent's paradise.
Yeah.
They get there.
And they pull up in an awesome convertible car.
Oh, it's beautiful. Dad looks like Reggie Jackson.
Dad has all I kept on saying was I wrote that in my notes. I couldn't stop looking at Dad's hair. His hair was so good.
Oh, it was
and then
gorgeous.
Mom had no hair.
Yeah.
Mom had pretty much a shaved head.
I mean, I feel like you got it, the counterbalance there.
Yeah.
And both of them get to utilize the convertible wind blowing through his hair and then blowing across his scalp. I also noticed, being the golfer I am, Dad has a bag of ancient golf clubs.
Yes!
Even for this era, they're ancient.
Even back then, those are
they're antiques. So they get to the door. Danielle gets to the door and goes to knock on it. Nobody answers. She notices a mirror above the door, kind of where we now would have a Ring doorbell or something up at the top. She goes to touch it and sounds like she cuts herself or something, but she's hurt by touching the mirror.
It hurt when she just touched it. You're like, look, was it sharp? Was it electrical? We don't know.
Then we get, I don't know about you, but the door opens and we get creepy-ass Quaker Amish-looking Peter.
This is the performance so far of the series. I know we got the doctor. I know we got Fog Machine. Sardo. We got all these guys. There is no one. This kid gives a MVP performance, not necessarily in a perfect way, but he swung for the fences so much you have to applaud this kid.
Oh, and he definitely he I don't know if he knocked it out of the park, out of the gate.
No, he actually did it. I mean, he swung out striking. He swung out trying, though. That's what I'd say.
I was going to say, as his character's concerned, he definitely got on base. Does he strike out later? Yes, he actually does.
Yeah. But you know what? He's not afraid to go up to the plate, bottom of the ninth,
and
2 outs.
Give it a swing. He comes in and is just creepy and weird out of the gate. You already know, well, something's up with this motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, he's already so damn pale. The minute you see that, you're like, I know that. Is there a fog machine? Is there a fog machine? Because he is so pale. He is pale, and his hair's. I love how high up his hair is. Like, it's just kind of like
for it being like a partial bowl cut. It's very high.
Yeah, and he's wearing old timey clothes. None of these are giveaways
at all. And then the parents ask, well, if they find out he's there by himself and ask where his parents are, my guy dodges the question instantly and is like, let me take you to your room. Well, there's another red flag that we're already just going to throw out at you. We go into the room, and there's a ton of mirrors all over the place.
And Dad is so happy.
Dad is loving it. Lays down, looks at the ceiling one, and is like, I like this.
I know. You know, as a kid, I would have never picked up on that, and now I'm like, oh, that's a great joke. Oh, so, man.
Yeah, Dad, Reggie Jackson, is a sex freak, apparently.
Mom's exhausted. I mean, there's a reason Mom's always exhausted.
Well, we get to Danielle's room, and our creepy guy Peter is adjusting the back of a giant oval mirror that you look into, and he finally says, oh, his parents are on a cruise. The next scene, Danielle and her dad are out there playing baseball, one-on-one baseball, as you do. And Pete is sitting on the porch watching. Reggie Jackson Dad's like, hey, Pete, why don't you join us? Danielle's not really fond of it, but Pete says, I'm not much of a sportsman. And for a guy that just hit something out of the park or close out of the park as a character, he's not an actual good baseball player.
No, not at all.
He gets up and Dad throws him a ball that he doesn't even get near catching. I don't know if that's so much of a red flag as it is like an obvious, like this.
Yeah, exactly. But then, what is it? They want to take a picture.
Mom, yeah.
Yeah, Mom wants to take a picture. He goes, no. He like freaks out, and still in his very soft and tired sort of way. No. Let me take a picture of you three.
I feel like that was a soundbite from the show.
Yeah, that's him.
He takes the picture, the Polaroid comes out, and he has this like quiet, evil laugh as he's like looking at the picture. The next scene, we're in the house, the baseball comes out of a door. Danielle's like, what's this? She opens the door, goes up into the attic, and now we're seeing this ancient-looking room with no amenities post-1940. She sees a picture, and our guy Pete comes out, creepy as can be, and it's like, oh yeah, that's my grandpa. And Danielle, being the smart, inquisitive gal that she is like, well, the picture, you look just like the guy, but it's from 1920. And Pete's like, yeah, my grandpa. He has a beautiful bouquet of flowers up by the windowsill.
They're gorgeous, yeah, but looks like a contraption with it.
There's a contraption, some kind of odometer there.
Yeah.
With a button. She goes to press the button, and he's like, oh, don't do that. And then he notices a zit on her face and says, are you breaking out? She runs to her room, checks it. Yeah, she's got a zit on her face.
Yeah. Now, are we implying with the zits, is that an aging thing?
Is this just a standard puberty thing, or is this a way to showcase the age?
I felt bad for the actress at first when I saw it. I was like, oh, man, there's nothing worse than a day where you got a zit and you got to be on camera. That's one of the worst.
And the writers have to write it in.
Yeah. But no, it actually plays a key part. It's a key point in the show.
Does. She checks the mirror, hurts her hand again with the mirror, which we're getting like, okay, something's up with these mirrors.
Every mirror hurts when you touch it.
Or the girl's just really bad at touching mirrors.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's not the case. We get Peter in his room. Peter by himself presses the contraption odometer button, and the room transforms into this high-tech scientific security lab, and a giant, like, I don't know, what was the mechanism that Urkel went into to become Stefan?
Oh, gosh, it was a porta-john that he made into it, though, which is what I always liked.
Well, this was a lot nicer version of that.
It was tin. It was like a circular. This is like a circular copper, like
cylinder thing. It's kind of like what Mike Myers got frozen for Austin Powers.
Yeah.
It's this beautiful, gorgeous, futuristic tube that he goes into, and our Fall Guy got a little work, I think. There's some fog that came out of this bad boy.
Yeah, Fall Guy, they're like, we need you for 3 consecutive episodes. He's like, I'm your guy.
Oh, baby. Dad, for the first time, notices that his hair's, like, not as beautiful as it was.
Getting a little gray, yeah. Not that there's not beauty in a silver fox, but...
but
he's
it wasn't
definitely
the locks he was riding around in the convertible top down with. That's for sure.
He thought he had many years of those beautiful locks before they gray. And everyone, Mom and Dad are also just getting slowly more and more tired through the episode. Probably because they're just boning in that mirror room hours on end while they're having their daughter play with the weird kid. Just outside, letting him explore. Like, there's times where I'm like, where are you guys at? They're just in the mirror room.
There's another angle they haven't seen yet. I have to test out. They found one hidden under the carpet.
I gotta tell you, I would actually pay to watch that guy do his work, because he seems like, if you know how you can watch those master classes on like they get like I would watch a master class with him showing us what you do with those mirrors.
Listen, I'm Reggie Jackson. I'm Reggie Jackson, and this is how you make love in front of a mirror. Well, naturally, this makes our guy Peter evil laugh in his chamber, and we see a bunch of tubes that have some kind of liquid in them that are going down. One looks like a male figure, one looks like a female figure, one looks like a kid figure.
Yeah. Really convenient, I gotta say.
I'm glad I finally found 3 that match my tubes with serums in them.
Now, we kind of also forgot to say that there was a part when they were playing baseball that he didn't want them to go into the woods. Like, the ball went into the woods, and he didn't want them to go back into the woods. He's like, I'll go get the ball. Very concerned about having people go into those backwoods for some reason. We're already going, okay, why does he want to go in the woods? Upstairs, he's got a contraption that makes him laugh and seem to get a little bit more rejuvenated. And at the same time, Mom and Dad are seeming tired, and the mirror's hurt. What's going on here, baby? There's a lot of moving parts.
We dip back to the Midnight Society for a hot second with their Polaroids that they've been taking.
Yep.
And then almost instantly go back to the story where we're out front again playing baseball, and all of a sudden, our Quaker boy Peter is a baller. It's as if he took steroids.
He went, you know how I can stop striking out? I'm going to juice, baby. I'm going to juice.
Juicing.
But I got a juice that even Barry and Mark wish they could have.
So he hits the ball a mile, and that's when I think he gets aggressive with Danielle of like, I'll go get the ball.
That's right, man. I'll really jumped on that.
Ball. Yeah. Mom and Dad get sleepy again. Dad's afternoon pound set. She's got him in need for another
He's
nap.
not just tired because of the pound set. Not just because of Pound Town.
Now he's got some of his life form maybe being sucked out of him in a different way.
Gosh, it's so hard now to do both versions. It's going to be he's tired all the time because he's in a mirror. If these writers purposely did this, is like you get drained if you're in a mirror room all the time with your wife. This is some good stuff. Oh man!
Not to mention he's a Hall of Famer. And
he's a Hall of Famer.
He's traveling around all the time, hitting old golf clubs.
Blast after blast of orgasmic delight.
I was to say, Danielle at this point in time, oblivious to Mom and Dad's sexcapades, her acne has gotten out of control. She goes to the mirror and is frustrated with it. She slams the mirror closed. The glass shatters everywhere, and she sees what looks like a camera, like she's being spied on.
Yeah, very like a Bates Hotel sort of thing. You're like, what's going on here?
Very much like a Bates Hotel. I mean, and gross, because now we got to assume, Pete's watching these people.
Yeah.
Pee and poo and take a shower.
Because it sparks everything. But now that we're talking about it, I'm kind of thinking about, is it actually like not a camera, but a sucker? Like it's sucking the camera that's on there is a sucking device, right?
Interesting. I will say Dad comes in. She asks Dad, and he's not really having it. Yeah. He's like, oh, that's fine. I don't have energy. But I also think Maybe Dad was like, "Hey, I found a new place to be."
he's like, wait, honey, it looks like your room's got more mirrors that we can
Mine
use.
does. I didn't know this one was
Honey,
here.
get up to the daughter's room. We only have this house for the summer.
It's only 2.5 months.
But now things start unraveling pretty quickly. We start realizing
Danielle
that
goes outside and she stumbles across a miniature graveyard out back.
Yeah, so in those woods that he didn't want them to see, there's a miniature graveyard with a lot of like gravestones, not gravestones, but it's literally just like a symbol of a man with like
they look like fresh tombstones, yeah.
Yeah. Fresh meat.
Fresh meat.
And even some animals. So what we're kind of figuring out is that this guy is absorbing their youth through these cameras that he has behind the mirrors that hurt people. And mom and dad are now almost, they're pretty soon to the grave.
And they're about to take yet another nap.
Another nap.
In their old age.
Yeah.
Our girl D, she gets up in the attic. I guess our guy Pete's not around. She finds the odometer button by the flowers, presses it. She sees the room transform and is like, oh, wow. And he sees a monitor of security cameras or whatever that are in each of the rooms from all the mirror vantage points. She goes to the graveyard and calculates the graves have these dashes on them and goes, oh, that's how many people's life forms you've stolen? How many dogs you've taken? The dog did seem strange. This guy,
multiple dogs.
Yeah,
multiple.
15 maybe. Pete's like, okay, fine, you got me. And he kind of lays it out of like, so I've been watching your parents have sex a lot. But they're at their final phase. And so she snaps a picture of him and he's like, oh, no, I'll get you anyway. She threatens him with a mirror, which I guess he in turn can't take mirrors or flash photography.
Jeez
and
Louise.
He has what was kind of an Urkel moment, and he kind of cranks the dial up and like really wants to become the Stefan version of himself.
Yep.
Back from 1920 when he was a steroid-using baseball player.
The good old days.
The good old days.
Well, he goes in it to do something. He goes in it to kind of get more life force, and then she, I think, finagles it to make it start going
and that's
reverse.
Where the mirror comes in.
Yeah.
The reflection.
Oh, that's right. And then kind of reverses it, and he's like, no, please. And then goes downstairs, mom and dad. They're rejuvenated because of the mirrors and the pound town. And essentially we're like, yeah, let's go somewhere else. Let's get out of here. We don't need to stay here because now we're using...
We've hit every corner of this house.
Yeah, we've hit every corner of this house. We've been very bad parents, not paying attention to you for probably a few weeks this summer.
Your dad's been hitting some home runs, and it's time to get out of here.
Yeah. We got another summer house to destroy. Let's get go. Now, I can't remember. When do we see the photograph that she takes of young Daniel Day-Lewis?
Oh.
When do we see that picture?
Is this when they're packing up the car?
Oh, yeah, because mom goes, hey, who's this photo of? And when she took that picture of our young little gentleman, all it shows now instead is a really old man. Obviously, that's who he was inside this whole time. It was just an old man. And this kid, again, he went for it. He tried to play an old man in a child's body so hard. And then there's kind of that sad ending where he, like, kind of, as an old man...
Yeah, through the blinds a little
he's
bit.
He's like, I have a good life. Enjoy the pounds over on the other side of the lake. I hear they have water beds over at that house. Which is a very 90s thing, those water beds,
100%.
yeah.
You know Reggie Jackson, Dad, and Mom have hit a waterbed or two in their day.
Exactly. Oh,
if they were yelping about this place, that would be their biggest take back.
Yeah.
Listen, love the mirrors, 5 stars there, but maybe a waterbed or two would have been nice.
Do you think they maybe had the Playboy Mansion rotating bed? Was that the Playboy? He had a rotating bed or something?
Reggie Jackson, Dad looks like he fucks with one of those.
But then we get back to the campfire with the Midnight Society. How does this kind of end?
All I really recall is they gather around and take, I guess our girl Kiki's got one photo left in the Polaroid camera.
It's a very sweet moment.
We get a group shot of the gang, the flash, and then it's just the picture on the rocks by themselves, which kind of bothered me that no one took the picture home to keep or to make copies of.
Yeah.
They left it out in the wilderness to have the natural elements do what it will with it.
Now, what I do like about this, though, is I just saw this. This is one of 21 episodes. So actually, it's not that impressive. Where the Midnight Society didn't leave and douse the fire with the water bucket.
Oh, so they're starting a forest fire out here.
Good job, Midnight Society.
Wow.
I know you're kids, but
and this is why Smokey the Bear was such a heavy influence of the era.
Well, man, I gotta tell you, talking about these, I feel like I got in that youth machine, and I feel like I got a little bit younger tonight. I feel good.
I do.
feel good.
I want to put some mirrors above my bed now.
Oh my god! You know we're gonna get some fan questions about that. Hey, speaking of which,
Tune in every week. Got a question, gotta speak. Nickelodeon on the line. Let's chat. It's podcast time.
all right. So did you get any from our X's and our MySpaces and our Vines? Did you get anything this week?
You wouldn't believe the X-Vine MySpace comments and questions I got.
What? Oh,
One that jumped out to me I thought was a lot of fun, and we're not quite into Halloween and the evolution of these episodes, but this is kind of in it seemed fun. Someone by the handle at Dr. Rich R. Beam says, hey, if Clarissa and her family went to Hogwarts, which house would each of the darlings be in?
Oh my gosh. I mean, Ferg Brain, Slith all the way, baby.
Yeah,
Slith.
Ferg is a solid Slytherin.
I think the hardest ones are, what is Marshall? Is he
I feel like Marshall might be like a Hufflepuff guy.
Yeah, I was going to say Huff. He's a little bit more whimsical, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I think Clarissa probably goes more with him in that sort of line.
But I feel like she also is more the Harry of the group.
You want her to, you want a Gryffindor. You want her to be Gryffindor.
Or Ravenclaw even. I don't know.
Well, oh yeah, because what's our dear friend Janet? What would Janet be?
Miss Darling. Oh, so maybe she's more Ravenclaw.
Yeah, I think if we're doing the house, I think you're probably right on it. I think he got our boy the Zim Blaster 5000. That dude is Slytherin all the way.
No questions.
Yeah, Marshall, our dear friend Marshall is Hufflepuff. Clarissa is Gryffindor, and then Sexy Janet is Ravenclaw. I like that.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
That's our answer at Dr. Rich R. Beam.
And Rich, keep those questions coming. I know you got a ton of them. You seem like a reader. You seem like a reader, my man. We got a ton of emails on snickcast@gmail.com. Please keep asking those questions. Some of them, again, a little too raunchy for us to post. So I can't talk about those ones. But Ant, tons of questions about what that hair looks like in darkness in a bedroom. That's all I got to say.
Baby.
Tons of questions about it. But this is from Rocky Rochester. This can't be a real name. This person seems to be going off of last week's other Clarissa episode we watched, Sam's Swan Song, which is, he wants to know, as a kid, if your family moved somewhere else, where would you have wanted it to be? This was an interesting one because I kind of also forgot to talk about this. Sam's mom wanted to move him to Seattle, and that was I feel like kind of the cool place to go live in the early 90s was Seattle.
Based on all we were hearing, yeah. I, as a kid, relocated from Florida to North Carolina, and that would not have been at the top of my list. I don't know. I guess I would have said maybe Seattle, but maybe from California maybe would have been the fantasy I'd have had.
Yeah. Well, I was about to say, I had that where for a short bit we moved out to California, and I loved it so much. So when we moved back, kind of wanted to come back always out this way. I think I was going to go more European. I think I would want to. I think I would have tried to be a little. I think I would have tried to go to Paris. I would have loved to have been like a little French kid, riding the bicycle past the Notre Dame. Maybe see a hunchback or two.
Start smoking cigarettes, etc.
Oh man! Oh my gosh! I'll say. Dude, actually, this makes way more sense. I would have just been drinking at such a young age. That's really what it was. I knew there was a reason why I wanted this. It's probably because I just wanted to drink at 12 years old. Smoking cigarettes, drinking, just being a little rascal over there.
Abroad would have been pretty nice. That's not bad.
It would have been, yeah.
My younger self wouldn't have thought that. That was out of the realm.
You were going, you would have localized it a little bit more. That's
domesticat, I think.
I think those were both great answers. I do have to make a comment. Every week when I look at the emails, though, I keep waiting for an email from Rebecca, our dear friend who's been on the run for a while. Again, Rebecca, if you're out there, we don't want to put pressure on you, but just let us know you're okay. We just want to hear from you. We just want to make sure you're not living in a dumpster.
You're on our minds.
You are on our minds in just a completely safe way. Oh Oh, man. I mean, this is a pretty great episode, man. This was a whole week of nostalgia. I feel like Clarissa was all about nostalgia. First Date was about that first date for us and everything. A little bit of nostalgia. Ren and Stimpy, we had to talk about old episodes, so a little bit of nostalgia.
In its nature, yeah.
And then growing old.
Weird Pete, yeah.
yeah. But again, we're glad the fog machine's working. We're glad everyone's okay. Listen, keep following along with us. I promise we won't always make as many mistakes as I did during the Ren and Stimpy segment. Send us those messages on snickcast@gmail.com. Let's put out this fire. Let's go home. Enjoy yourselves. Have a great rest of your Saturday night, baby.
Let's do it.
Woo!